It is time for the Triple Threat Vet podcast. We're going to get it started for you. Let's see what's going on with Matt Johnson.
Very, very happy that Ty put a nice, normal, cool picture of me. But Al, I did want to tell you before you jump on, that command photo you have looks like somebody photoshopped it from 1972. Like 100%. Only thing you're missing is the little placard with your name on it, with your last four. You know, the old school command photos. But anyway, welcome everybody. Tuesday, 7 o'clock. We're back. Tell stories. Tell you all about everything that we got going on. And we got an amazing guest tonight. So with that, we get to throw it over to the hero.
What it do, baby? So I just want to touch on a couple things. Well, really one main thing tonight. Look, I'm so tired of fucking seeing you people posting on social media, your ugly ass children. Stop posting pictures of your fucking kids. Like, ask a neighbor, like, is my kid photogenic? Should I be posting this? Like, sometimes y'all post pictures of your kids hitting baseballs and they look like they caught autism later on in life. Like, they don't look like they should be swinging a baseball bat, much less playing in a team sport. But stop posting ugly ass children on Facebook, man. I was on Facebook the other day and I seen some lady posted a picture of her. I don't know if it's her nephew or somebody on there, and he was like, I don't know, he had like some kind of disorder. Man, that shit made me nauseated. I'm trying to eat my dinner. Nobody wants to see these ugly ass kids with all these special needs babies on Facebook. Stop posting your ugly ass kids on Facebook. That's all I want to say tonight.
Hey, did you realize it was your baby picture when you were nauseated or what?
No, but April does have a baby picture of me out here looking like I got I caught Down syndrome and then I beat it later on in life. That's what the picture looks like. I don't know why my parents put me, but it's crazy. I see people posting shit of their kids and dudes out here posting fucking selfies. Like, when did that become a thing where guys are like posting pictures of them like I'm that in the gym videos? Stop posting pictures of you in the gym unless you're lifting some ungodly amount of weight. You out here on the bar with 145, like come on, bro, stop. Hey, nobody wants your advice.
An accomplishment for them, buddy. Oh, so by the way, just so everybody knows, so I don't get 300 million questions about hair, I went to a brewery party this weekend and I had to dress up as the owner. And unfortunately, the owner only has a mustache, so I had to rock a mustache. But I wasn't coming on here to show everybody what a mustache looks like and where you should keep your kids away from. Okay, so I just shaved it all off. I had to get a haircut. You know, I'm trying to be a professional, so that's it.
And Bob, you're right. That it is according to me. I'm so tired of seeing ugly kids on Facebook. Ask a neighbor, ask a friend, check with your spouse. Be like, should we be posting our ugly ass kid on Facebook? It's sad. Nobody wants to see that shit. It's just depressing.
So I got a question for you guys. I do have a question this week. I wanna ask something before we jump into it. What do you guys feel about your man Heupel over at Tennessee? Y'all see what happened this weekend?
Yeah, about the quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback was like, I want more money. And Josh Heupel was like, well, the door closes the same way leaving as it did coming in. You can get the fuck out.
I think that's where we have to be with right now in college sports. I think that's the way to do it.
And then did you see the comment?
I think it's the way to do it.
You see Nick Saban's comment on it?
No, I didn't.
He immediately was like, Josh Heupel's my new favorite guy. He's the guy bringing back what college football's about. He was, whether you hate Tennessee or you love him, you need to. That guy stood up for everybody.
Oh, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna support Tennessee this year. Now I'm gonna watch some of their games just because. Hey,
yeah,
it's true though, man. They're ruining college football, and I get it. I agree. Players should get paid for NIL deals, but you're talking $4 million.
Yeah,
like that was more than I think they did a comparison. That's more than like some NFL quarterbacks have made, and like. Bro, stop it, man. Stop.
It's very true, but I would ask you this. So if you go to college, what's the main reason for that again?
Get your education.
To learn how to think.
But
you know how much education costs?
Bro,
a lot of money.
And I know we've had this debate before where like but I get it. That football program brings in a lot of money. The coaches make a lot of money. The school makes a lot of money. I'm not opposed to some of the kids making some form of payment but like his kid,
it's
like it's
called
getting out of
room,
hand. But
board,
hey,
food, and education.
I'm with you. But Josh Heupel, I'm with him, bro. Hey, if that dude, you want more money, go find somewhere else to play, dude.
Let's be honest, everybody. That dude wasn't even that good for him to be holding up for that much money.
He put up 127 yards against Ohio State. That's it. Ohio State's defense held you. Come on, pay me $4 million. Ohio State wrecked Tennessee, made Tennessee look like they didn't even belong in the league. Like, get out of here.
Bro. That's why I was like, no.
What's up, Willis?
Yeah,
I disagree, and just the fact that he didn't play that well, the fan base didn't want him to get paid, and as soon as he went, I think he got $2.5 million last year. But wanted to go to $4 million. It's ludicrous, and it shouldn't be something that any of the coaches or coaching staff at all has to deal with. This shit should be turned off before, like, I don't know if it's the spring game or game one, but that stuff needs to be turned off and we'll renegotiate when the window opens. And the transfer portal needs to open after the bowl season. The transfer portal should not open as soon as the regular season and championship games in the leagues are
Well, here's the thing, though. Military, you go into a new unit, you go into somewhere new, the first thing you have to do is set a precedent, right? You have to go in rough so that you can get good order and discipline. And then later on, people can go, guys, you know what it was like when you first got here? Let's do what we need to do, right? Josh Heupel, he just set a bar for all the other coaches to be like, oh, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Because, at the end of the day, I get it, right? That guy, his name, image, and likeness, right? Okay, understand. But the offensive line ain't getting paid that much money. Bro. The reason he can run around and do all that shit is the offensive line blocks. So sometimes it's like, I get what you're saying, but maybe, NIL, I do agree. Kids they're in college, there's a chance of getting hurt, all that stuff. Maybe it's a fair pay across the board. You play this sport, this is how much you get paid. Like a stipend kind of deal, right? To be able to, help you out. But like millions, dude, these dudes don't even care about going to the NFL no more. Some of them are rich enough and set enough. They don't even care if they make the NFL. They got paid in college.
Well, that's what ESPN actually said about this Nico from Tennessee. They said that maybe he and his team think that he's not going to have a great chance in the NFL, so they want to make as much money now as possible. And so if that's a career, if that's like a sub-career to get into the NFL, they should cut that stuff out immediately, because just like a lot of people are saying, college is you go there to learn.
Yeah.
You go there to get a degree, and then everything, it should be student athlete, not millionaire athlete student that can not do with class. I disagree with it, but I think they should get paid. But there's got to be windows for that stuff. Hey, before we get started, I want to give a shout out. So my oldest brother, Todd Trosper, this is him on the right here. He was a Navy man. He's about 10 years older than me. So growing up with him, best big brother I could ever have. He's been married to his wife for 30 years today. So I wanted to give him a shout out. Eric Todd Trosper, my oldest brother, 30 years married to his wife, Celia Wren Trosper. She herself is a badass Marine. So big shout out to Todd and Celia for your 30th wedding anniversary.
And she looks like she's like in her early 30s. He looks like he's probably pushing 65. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Get you a young one. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I ain't gonna hate on it. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, and then
got you a boat boo.
30 years, and my brother that's younger than him, he's been married for like 35 years. So they're excellent role models. So big shout out to you guys.
I've been married for 25 with a small break in service.
I was gonna say first or second time.
I did some reserve time.
Yeah, that was your IRR time. You decided
some IRR time, bro. My marriage. Shit.
What's up, Cato?
All right, so what we got on the agenda tonight?
Let's do this.
I don't know.
So I'm excited. So we have Paul Conway coming on tonight. So just outside of what he's done in the military, just this guy is a leader's leader. He was a chief's chief. So when I met him, I was young in my career, right? I had just picked up E6 not shortly before I transferred into that Lakewood office where Paul was already at. He was a seasoned E6 in the military, and just a stud all the way around. Like, this guy taught me so much about caring about people, right? Because in recruiting, it's cutthroat. It's all about mission. It's all about making those numbers. and you lose. Sometimes you lose that piece of leadership where it should be focused on people, and that's how it should be. And he just taught me that part of that game. Like he was I might have been in charge of that office, but it was clear that he had the respect and the command of everybody in that office. Like he was just that guy, and he was he was outstanding as a recruiter. He pretty much ran that city as far as recruiting was concerned. He was good at what he did, but he was such a leader and such a person who cared about everybody in that office and cared about the people around him and cared about his family. He was just he was the person as a young E6 you want to emulate, you want to be just like. And then obviously years later we've stayed in contact, but he picked up chief down the road and did some pretty amazing shit in his career. But I'm excited to have him on. I've known him for a long time, and excited to have him come out here and tell his story and talk a little bit about what he's doing now and what he's been into. So without further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Paulie Conway. There he is.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
How many times has he said anything that nice about you in your entire life?
Never.
A lot. That dude was a beast, bro. Like he was every bit of what I said. Like leadership wise, I learned more from him than I did from some of the chiefs that I worked for. Like it was cool to have him in my corner. He always had my back, always have the best interest of the team at heart. So he really pushed hard, like teamwork and let's make it happen. And like I said, he always had my back. So if we had to do something that nobody was going to like, he definitely was a brother first class, and who had my back and was like, we got it. Let's do it. Let's not bitch about it. Let's get this job done. And he was all about it. So for sure. That's a fact. It's
well, welcome to the show there, Paul. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you?
I'm making it one day at a time. That's how we roll.
Indeed.
How we roll. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We're excited to talk to you. We got to read a little bit about you when Al sent us over some information about, service and where you're at now. So what we like to do is just jump right into everything. And what we like all of our guests to kind of give the audience a little bit of information about them. Where are you from? How was it for you growing up? And then take that like leading into joining the Navy.
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me. First time I've done a podcast, so I appreciate you guys having me on tonight. Al, thank you for the amazing introduction. It's always good to know that you have a positive impact on people and a lasting impression. My name's Paul Conway. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Kind of went through my rebellious junior years there, and then actually I was an auto mechanic. So I went through this program in high school that kind of taught you automotive mechanics, and graduated high school, had a really good job, and then one day it was just kind of like, this is not where I'm going to be when I'm 40. And by young years, I thought, like, if I make it to 30, it's probably a miracle, just because all the dumb shit that I did as a kid. So being 20, I was like, I can't stay here. So I went down and tried to join the Navy. Unfortunately, when I was like 15-ish, like recruiters, they're dicks.
No, they're awesome.
You're sitting there and you're sitting there at lunch, and they're all like bothering you and shit. So
well,
my buddy,
real quick. So
yeah.
I want to hear the whole story about joining the Navy, but the fact that you just said, I didn't know if I was going to make it to 30 because of all the dumb shit I did as a kid. Like, I got to hear a couple stories. Like, I got to know what kind of shit you were doing younger that made you think you weren't going to make it to 30. If you can share it. Statute of limitations is probably run out by now.
You're probably not wrong. I was always looking for that adrenaline rush, right? Like as a kid. So it was like any stupid idea that anybody would come up with. Like it was like Jackass before Jackass was Jackass.
Oh,
so
there
it was
you
like,
go.
hey, jump off at the top of that tree. It was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Let's jump off the top of that tree and then break both my ankles on the way down. Like, oh, shit happens.
Dang.
So, really like anything I can do to catch that adrenaline rush, whitewater rafting, rock climbing, things like that. unsupervised and untrained, I was just ready to fucking take on the world. Let's go.
So Matt, one thing that before he gets back in the story, he almost broke a Guinness Book of the World Record. Like when he says I literally am an adrenaline junkie, he like built this fucking water jet ski that did like, I don't know, 80, 90 miles an hour and was going to ride through on Lake Erie like nonstop. Like, I don't remember what the record was supposed to be.
24 hours. I was trying to set the most mileage covered in 6, 12, and 24 hours, but I couldn't get the Coast Guard to buy off on it, which was fucked up because I was in the Navy and I played that card hard, and they just
like, bro, I know more
it.
about this shit than you guys do. Hook
like,
it up.
Stay in your fucking puddle. Like, let me ride. And they were like, no. So
yeah, I think the stay in your puddle comment, they were like, we're definitely not clearing this now.
But the fact that this guy was driving was the fact that this motherfucker's riding around on a jet ski that does 80, 90 miles an hour.
That's I was like, I'm trying to break the speed record, bro.
That shit was insane.
I had everything planned out with fuel stops and chase boats and everything. Like we were go. We just needed permission from the puddle patrol, and they weren't having it.
So what are they worried about in Lake Erie that was going to be a big problem? I got to know this.
Well, jet skis you can't run at night because there's no gunnel, and then you don't have any navigation lights, which it's like the law or something. I don't know.
Bring some of those Coast Guard boats and turn on the strobe lights, dude.
That's kind of what I was like working towards, and it was a hard no. Yeah. Losers.
Fuckers.
Oh, it's so
no
funny.
sense of adventure.
I know, right? All right, so crazy stuff growing up. You would do anything and everything for an adrenaline rush.
Yeah. So then,
automotive school. And what was it like being a young mechanic, though? I'm sure you got stories about that too. Something had to have happened mechanic-wise that made you go, "I'm out."
Yeah, I dropped a brand new truck off the lift, like brand new, like fucking first oil change.
Oh fuck!
Oh, you're like, I quit. You don't have to fire me. I quit.
No. They didn't fire me. I worked there for probably another 6 months before I quit.
Whoa! It was hard up times then, bro.
No, it was a mechanical malfunction with the lift. The arm kicked out from underneath it, and
down.
What kind of truck?
It was like a new Silverado 1500. It was a nice truck.
It was.
Hey, who had to tell the guy it fell off the lift?
Nobody did. That was the thing. Like it fell, and like we had already called a tow truck, and like had the wheels rolling, and then he was like walking around outside. And he's like, "Been here for like fucking 2 hours. Where's my truck?" I was like, "Nobody told you?" I was like, "Oh, come here, come take a look. It's still half on the lift." Yeah, like the front end.
You're gonna love this.
Yeah, and like the bumper was touching the ground. He was like, "What the fuck?" They bought him like a brand new truck. The company I worked for, they didn't care. They went out of business a couple years after I left there because of their spending habits, but they upgraded. They
probably bought a whole bunch of brand new trucks for faulty equipment.
Yeah,
dude.
It happened.
Hey, over under you hoping that your oil change finished the same way.
Over.
I'm like, I want to get mine changed right now. Can we put my car on here and change?
Yeah. Let's go.
Especially if Hero was running it. Oh, you know that bitch is falling off.
They would have no cars would be fixed, bro. I was horrible, dude. I'm fucking horrible, dude. That's why I trained. I was a CB mechanic, and I was so horrible that I jumped ship and went to their special operations side of it and did the cert teams because I had no clue about mechanics. Even when they asked me to go, they were like, "Hey, you're also a mechanic, so you could be the team mechanic." I was like, "Bad idea, horrible idea." I've got a guy though, and I name dropped a dude who was like a real mechanic. I was like, "This guy should go with us to Iraq because like I can't fix shit. Like you're in it's a bad spot."
Crazy. All right. So what made you decide the military and the Navy was what you needed to do?
Both my grandfather and father had served in the Navy, both limited tours, not to retirement. My grandfather actually caught tuberculosis and ended up spending most of his enlistment in a VA hospital back in the day, and they took his a lung out. And then my dad did a couple years, I think 3.5, 4 years at the time, and it was always kind of an option. And I was like, you know what, it gets me the fuck out of Cleveland. So I jumped ship and
And
Kind
so
of
you
went back
said
for a couple
the
years.
first time you went to go join, and they wouldn't let
Yeah.
you in, and you were getting into a funny story. Then I very
I was.
rudely interrupted,
You did.
but I want.
It's
yeah,
all right.
do it.
I'll allow it.
I'll sign
So I
the
had
report
went.
sheet later.
I had went down to the recruiter's office one day when I was probably about 15, 16, and I told them, "Hey, I have one kidney," and they're like, "Oh shit." So they put me in the system as only having one kidney, and then I never got another thing in the mail. I never got another fucking phone call, and nobody ever wanted to talk to me. So that's my life pro tip for those of y'all that might not be in the military yet. Just go tell your local recruiter you only got one kidney. I don't know. They might take you now if you only have one kidney. I don't know what the recruiting requirements are, but
Depends on the test score.
that's fair. So when I went down after I decided to join, I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this. Join the fucking Navy." And he's like, "Cool. What's your name?" Pulls me up. And he's like, "Sorry, dog, can't take you. You only got one kidney." And I was like, "Oh no, that was just some bullshit I told you guys so you'd leave me alone." And he like looked at me. He's like, "So you got both kidneys?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "That shit worked, didn't it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, it did." And I left for boot camp like 6 days later. No shit.
Dang, there you go. That was back.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was 2000. November of 2000. Yeah.
That's when I joined. I was
straight the fuck out.
Yep,
3 weeks
good.
I was gone too. Yeah. Good old
Nice.
2000.
Nice. So when you joined the Navy, did you join with the job that you were a damage controlman? Did you get that job when you joined, or did you have to do the ever popular fireman apprentice program?
I did not do the fireman apprentice program. They were like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And I was an upper. I think I scored a 66. So like not mind blowing, but I had some options. And he's like, "What do you like to do?" And I'm like, "Light shit on fire." And he was like, "I got the job for you, fire controlman." And I'm like, "That sounds perfect." And they gave me the job card, and I was like, "This doesn't say anything about fires." So no, I'm out. And then they gave me the damage controlman card, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this sounds like a firefighter. Yeah, I can get down with this." So picked old DC, and off I went.
Nice. I remember when I went to boot camp, first day you get there, you're sitting in the galley, and one of the guys was dicking around, and our RDC came over. This dude at the time was like 6 foot and 300 inches, right? When you're thinking, and he's towering, right? Walks up, the guy was talking shit to him, and he turned around and looked at him, and he's like, "You know who I am?" And my RDC was a DC-1. I was like, that was the scariest person I'd ever seen at that point, because he was not to be messing around. I was like, dang. That was my introduction to my RDC, was a damage controlman, which you already know, like, everything's a problem, period.
Indeed.
So what was it like for you going through boot camp? Was it easy? Was it hard?
It's probably hard as fuck. Paul's like 6'11", fucking 220 pounds. He's fucking huge. He's probably.
And he did break both ankles.
No, I'm only 6'3", and I'm a stout 630 now.
Yes,
you were close. I lost a little bit of weight. My biggest fear going through boot camp was getting asthma, because like I was like, shit, like my girlfriend's coming, my mom and dad are coming, like I'm gonna have to call them and tell them like, hey, change them fucking tickets and come a week later because I'm an idiot. So that was other than that, like you just have to be less of an idiot than the guy standing next to you, and then like everything's good.
Yeah. So what did you do that made you think you was gonna get asthma, or is it just being there?
I think it's just the stress of being there. Like you just breathe wrong, and they're like, "Fuck you, go back a week." I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I remember graduation. You know, I didn't know you could get asthma after you graduate.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, we were in the van.
Did you get asthma after you got?
I did not, but there was a guy, the same RDC, didn't get along with him. We're in the van and leaving, and as the van is pulling off, he sees the RDC walking, and he shot the finger to him, and that dude took off running and stopped. He goes, "Get the fuck out the van right now. You're going back to like P days." We were like, "What?" And the guy was like, "No." Everybody just sat in the airport to the next duty station. I'm not talking to anyone because I am not going back, because I was like, damn, he already graduated.
Hey, just for Bob, since he's over here talking that shit right now, asthma is when you get rolled back in training. I'm sure you've been there 100 times. He said peer queer talk. First of all, yes, roll back in training, Bob. I know when you were with the MP battalion, they probably rolled you back in training a couple times. Thank you for your service. Check my ID at the gate.
Or do they call that remediation in the Army? Just a second chance or something?
What's it called when y'all get kicked out of, but when you get rolled back in training, Ty?
I guess we'll never know. I have no idea what it's called when you get rolled back in training. I think it's called rollback or, phase drop.
Second chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means to fail in an Army school. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you don't, but you know people that did. So you went to school in Great Lakes, right? Learned how to fight fire.
Yep.
So what was your first duty station?
My first duty station was the USS Austin LPD-4 in Norfolk, Virginia.
Ooh. So how was that going on? Brand new damage controlman, checking onto the boat. Even back then, like what was it like to walk in there and have to start doing the things you learned how to do?
Well, I remember like on my way out of A school, like one of the instructors told us, he was like, don't make friends with the duty driver. The duty driver is the biggest piece of shit in the duty section, and they're not qualified in anything, and they're fucking losers. So don't be fucking cool to the duty driver. I'm like, all right. So I get to the Norfolk airport, and the duty driver picks me up, and he's like, hey, I had some Airedale. Hey, what's up? You know, come on, I'm gonna take you. And I'm like, oh, this dude seems like kind of fucking cool. I'm like, don't fucking talk to him. Just fucking stay to your fucking self. This dude's a dirtbag. That's what the fucking instructor said. And then, you know, carried my bags up the brow, and like the dude he was just the nicest guy ever. I learned that probably about 6 months later, and I had to like pull him to the side and was like, hey man, sorry, such a dick when you picked me up from the airport, but I was instructed that you were going to be a douchebag, so I don't want to associate with you during that time.
He's probably like, what?
Yeah.
I just wanted your experience to be a great one.
My bad,
Right.
bro.
And it was good.
Nice.
It was, I mean, I think it's scary for any 20-year-old to be completely, you know, torn out of your norm, torn out of your element, and placed into engineering department on a steam powered warship. Like,
Yeah.
you know, some of the just crazy antics that we would see. It was an all male crew at the time, so that's breeds a different level of pervertedness into things, you know. It was shocking, I guess you could say.
Share. Well, I mean, what you can share. Let's do that. What you can share.
I mean, it was no holds barred. Like, I mean, it was like what I envisioned the Navy probably in the 40s and 50s, like in the old war movies. You know, the dudes would have like berthing wars, and like, you know, as an engineer, as a D-seaman, you know, you just didn't go through deck berthing, because if you went through deck berthing, you were going to get your ass beat.
I was like, wait a minute, what did they call your berthing, dude?
Dick berthing, you know, bosun mates.
Bosun mates, yeah.
All about that dick.
So walk everybody through. So being a damage controlman actually is like a pretty fucking important job. Like they have a lot of say-so, and if stuff goes well when things go bad. So walk people through, like, as a damage controlman, what kind of things were you doing? Talk through like what your responsibility was in emergencies, because you know some of the people that watch, they have no idea what that means.
So you know, you have a ship, whether that's like one of the Navy's, you know, smaller ships or largest ships, like an aircraft carrier. Typically you have some form of damage controlman on board, and the damage controlman's responsibility is pretty much any casualty control. So obviously fire's something bad that happens when a ship is out to sea. Something a lot of people don't give a lot of thought to is, flooding is also a pretty negative situation to be in if you're out to sea. And then the third thing that we did was chemical, biological, radiological defense, which really isn't like all that big of a thing, but it has the potential to be. So it's something that the D seamen are responsible for. On top of those primary duties, I guess you could say the collateral duties are maintaining all the firefighting gear, making sure that everything is operational and ready to go if need be, and then training the rest of the crew. Something that's, when you have, a destroyer has say 300-ish people on it, might be more, might be less now, whatever. When you're out in the middle of the ocean, obviously you can't just call 911 and a magic fire truck doesn't show up where you're at. So everybody on the crew has at least a basic level of damage control knowledge. But the D seamen are kind of the experts that run the show.
Yeah, so that's the other thing I was hoping you'd bring up is like you guys teach everybody to keep it afloat, right? Like bad stuff happens, goes. But I think is that CBR stuff, the chemical, biological, because of like the opportunity on a boat for like confined space kind of stuff, where depending on where you're at and what's being worked on, it could be a hazardous situation.
Yes, but no. The confined space stuff is something that we deal with. Like the Navy calls them gas-free engineers, civilians call them marine chemists. So that is something that once you get a little bit more senior in rank, that usually will be part of your training track to be able to be a gas-free engineer and certify that a tank or a void is safe for personnel to enter, safe to do some kind of hot work, which is like welding or grinding or cutting. Things like that.
You do high speed shit too, though, Paul. Didn't you do? I think you did VBSS for a while, correct?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, he did the search and seizure shit. That was so. I know y'all do DCs do some pretty high speed shit too, depending on if that's part of your collateral duty.
Unfortunately, I volunteered for that shit, so I can't really say that that's like part of like a typical DC training track. But
yeah, but the question is, how did you volunteer? What made you volunteer? Because somebody told you some cool shit and you're like, I'll do that. It had to be, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, like what 22, 23-year-old doesn't want to like also run around with a dope ass like Mark 18 rifle and shoot shit.
And jump up ladders on boats and tell everybody that you're there to take the fuck over, right? Like that's like, let's do it.
I mean, yeah, but like really all we did was like go hand out water and Skittles and shit.
So you never had to go do like a board and do an inspection or anything?
No, yeah, we did them all the time, but they were always compliant. Like we never did a non-compliant boarding. So like we would radio over and be like, hey, can we come check out your shit? And they'd be like, no, and be like, right, well, have a good day. You're probably good.
You're probably good.
We believe you.
We're on our fucking way right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna fuck your shit up. That's what we're doing.
Funny. Crazy. So how many? So you did how many total ships did you do in the Navy? How many were you on?
Fuck, I don't know. It's in my bio. Didn't you read that shit?
I did, but I can't read, so
all right.
we're gonna have to.
Austin,
my bio.
Fuck, I gotta count that.
I saw a whole bunch of acronyms and names after it, so I didn't know if that meant one was a ship.
8.
Damn, that's a lot.
So I was on LPDs, which the old steam LPDs don't exist anymore. I did a couple DDG rides, which guided missile destroyers are still a thing. Went recruiting, left there, went to the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier, which was the largest aircraft carrier at the time, left there and went to a PC, which was a real culture shock because you go from like 5,000-6,000 people on a carrier to 25 to 27 on a PC. It's a Navy's smallest ship. And then did a couple of those and then went LCS.
There you go. So for everybody that's out there, what is a PC?
Coastal Patrol. It's like a 185, 187 foot little ship.
So you guys, what were you doing on that though? What was the main role of being on that one?
We do a lot of patrols, a lot of escort stuff.
Cool.
That's pretty badass.
So went to recruiting, and that's where you met.
That's where I met Al. That's
Yeah.
where Al met me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where I
yeah.
met fucking
Yeah,
Paul. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was already there. I showed up at his city and was like,
So
"Hey,
walk
bro,
us through
I'm
that.
here. I'm here for the fucking good time." Like,
Yeah. Walk us through that. Like,
It was
ready
dope.
to go hero walks into the recruiting
Yeah.
station, probably loud as shit.
Right. And if I remember right, they got there like right about fall, early winter. And Cleveland gets a fair amount of snow. And I think he came out of a recruiting station in Georgia. And
Yeah.
at the time, like all of our leadership came from like Georgia, Florida, like in pretty quick succession. So it was probably around Thanksgiving, between Halloween, Thanksgiving, and they called for snow, and they were like, "Yeah, we're probably going to see like 1 to 3 inches overnight." And I remember Hero calling saying, "Hey, do you have your laptop at home?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Don't come to the office. It's supposed to snow like 1 to 3 inches." And I was like, "Are you sure about that?" He's like, "Yeah. We don't want you on the road. Like it's gonna be dangerous. Could see 3 inches of snow."
Yeah, bro.
And that was probably the best winter of my life because I think I worked from home pretty much that whole winter because our chain of command was afraid of the snow.
We were terrified. I was terrified. I used to put on my fucking hunting coveralls to go to work. Like fucking, it was miserable, dude.
Yeah, but think about it. That's an example of, Paul's over there. Hero calls and goes, "Bro, 1 to 3 inches. You can't come in." He's like,
"Yeah, hey,
don't anybody tell this effer that."
Yeah, right.
Used to that. Don't anybody mess this up for us.
Nobody.
Okay?
Yeah,
Wait till he sees 2 feet overnight.
Everybody in that office was from there, like Mullinex and Paulie. Everybody was
so
like from
funny.
the area, so they were all like, "All right, cool." Like I did learn
walking in like, "Whoo, I barely made it today." Oh my
The
god!
main
Oh man,
the main
you're
thing
2 hours
Paul
late,
taught me-
but you're safe. So thanks for just coming.
Yeah, the main thing Paul taught me when I was in Cleveland, Ohio, is if you want to eat good food, look for the cops and firefighters are eating at, and that's where you eat. Like
100%.
He taught me that shit, and it rang true. I would pull into like these little like ghetto looking gas stations, and it'd be like a fucking bistro in the back, and it'd be nothing but cops and like there was like a hot dog place that everybody went to. I don't even know what it was called, but it was like open like 24 hours a day, and like, dude, it was I learned all about food in Cleveland, Ohio.
Nice.
I used to be a fat kid. I'm slightly less fat now.
Oh.
Now we had a good time in recruiting. We had a good team for the most part. Like I said, Paul saved me a couple of times. Like I probably should have been out of the Navy. Like I literally got into a fight in the office with one of the recruiters, which is a horrible thing as a leader to do. Like I don't care what the situation is. Like you should never, ever.
Yeah, leg day, baby.
Yeah, yeah. You should never, ever, ever like fight a recruiter or one of your
that
people.
Front yard looks familiar.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Holy shit. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's what happens. I've been there with Paulie quite a few times.
Oh, that's so
Look at
funny.
them little legs.
I know. Skip leg day, dude.
Look at that. That's horrible. Don't skip leg day.
Oh, that's my front yard. Very nice.
That's how I was like, that front yard looks familiar.
We had a good night that night.
I was looking around like, is there a comment?
As soon as that picture rolled over, I went, "Oh, yep, I know. I'm the one that dropped him off in the grass."
He was wasted.
But we had
drunk that night, were you?
I was pretty fucked up, but I don't know if I was fucked up in that picture.
Yeah, that was right after the comedy show, right?
We drank quite a bit.
Yeah,
I don't recall much.
Yeah, I don't remember. I came home separately. I know that. So
all right. So Al, why'd you fight a recruiter?
I don't really remember what happened. I think he was talking shit. I was talking shit. I was in my office. Paul was in his little area. We were all kind of just, and he just didn't. The kid didn't like me, and I won't name drop him because I don't want to, hurt his feelings or nothing. But he just didn't like me. He didn't like anything I had to say, and we got into just an argument. And he fucking said something, and I jumped up, and he jumped up, and I was like, "Oh, this shit's." He really wants to go, and we went at it. I fucking was choking him to death, and Paul Conway walks over and grabs me by my belt and lifts me up off this kid and just moves me out of the way and pretty much stops it. And then like the chain of command gets involved and Canasser and Ronnie Brown come out, and before we know it, like they transferred this kid to another office. But I thought for sure my career, I'm like, it's over. Like this is over. But luckily, the team in that office were like, nah, it was fucking.
That's funny.
It was fucking cool. Like, you know, it's no big deal. Like they pretty much went to bat and just said, hey, shit happens. And we didn't see shit pretty much. So it worked out in my favor.
The good old days. The good old
Yeah,
days.
the good old days.
But also, here's the thing. You know, when they walked in, I was like, well, he told me he wasn't calling his fucking working ticket record, so I had to handle business. And they were like, yep, he's hired. You can stay forever.
Dude, it happened so fast. I don't even remember what the argument was, but I remember he jumped up and was ready to go. And I was like, oh, shit.
That's so funny.
This motherfucker wants to go. Like, I guess we're going to go.
Oh, my goodness. So how many years did you do in recruiting, Paul?
Slightly over 3.
Over 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what years did you recruit from?
07 to early 11.
Oh, so you went into the walk-in era, dude. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was dope.
You're a fucking liar. You
Oh
never.
no, it was so dope.
It's a lie. We worked. Paul had all the schools on lock, bro. We worked our ass off in Cleveland.
Yeah, but remember, that's when all the housing market
no,
crashed.
no.
People were walking in, bro. Let's go.
We had a
Bro,
good time.
I don't know if you know this, but I had like 2 app logs because I would like straight up tell motherfuckers like, sorry, Navy's full. Like we don't have any openings this month. And I would put them on like my secret tickler, and Al would come to me on like the 30th at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and be like, give me one. And be like, I ain't got nobody.
You always had somebody.
Fucking give me one. I had a fucking list of people, 100%. Because I'd be like, hey, Navy's full this month. It's like working at the grocery store. Like I can't hire a store, like a stock kid, if I don't have any stock availability. And they'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I'll take your number down around the first of the month. We'll be able to get you in, no problem.
One thing I'll never forget is Paul put a kid in the Navy, and I can't think, and Paul knows his name, I'm sure, when I tell the story. This kid, bro, lived in a homeless shelter and would walk in the snow to debt meeting. Like I think he finally passed the ASVAB, and we got him in the Navy, and he reached out to me years later and made first class and made chief, but he was homeless, man. We joke about recruiting, but man, there were some kids that when we helped out, we changed some lives in that area for sure. And I can't remember that kid's name. He was.
I do remember that kid's name.
Yeah.
Very vividly. And actually, I know him to this day, and he's stationed down here in Jacksonville, Florida, and they able to get together and see him every once in a while. But
yeah, he would walk. I mean, he would walk miles to come to debt meetings. He worked his ass off to study for the ASVAB, and we finally got him in. But he lived in a shelter. I mean, at that time,
he did. Yep. You know, and it wasn't any of his own doing. Both of his parents died, and he didn't have any other family. And legit, the kid just didn't have anywhere to go, and ended up in a shelter, and fucking straight up was a fucking warrior and fought his way out from the bottom.
Yep.
I think it was at the time you could test like every 30 days, and like after your 3rd failure, you had to wait 6 months.
He did, yeah.
If that was right. And then he had to wait 6 months, and I maintained contact with them, and I gave him like study materials, and I put a lot of effort into that man.
Individual, yeah.
He's a fucking chief now.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
So what year did you make chief?
I made chief in 2014 because I was part of the FY15 class.
Nice. And so what was did you make it in or out of recruiting?
He was out.
I made it out of recruiting.
Okay. So walk us, what was it like for you when you made it? Like, you know, you've been in for a little bit, you make it. How was the process for you, and how did it end up?
It was good. I was a 1 of 1 at my command, and to add to that, my command was on an extended TAD in Norfolk. So I was home ported out of Florida, and the ship that I was on was sent to Norfolk for a dry dock availability, and I was the only one out of it was a PC. There was 27 people total on board, and I think 2 of us were board eligible. I made it. The other guy did not. So the chief of the boat at the time, because we didn't even have like a command senior chief, it was straight up like a fucking like, here you go. You're the chief of the boat. Cause you're the senior guy here. So he got me in over at Little Creek, and I did my season, with the Little Creek guys. And, I wanted to distance myself because I mean, like I was in 14 years at that point. I was smart enough to know like, hey, take this training opportunity. My command was super dope and basically just fucking straight cut me loose for like 6 weeks so I can go and run and do the little fuck games with the chief selects. But I used it as a, as an opportunity to network and meet people and learn what it is to be a chief. And I think that really served me well. And that was an opportunity that once you are a chief, you're kind of fighting with the chain of command where there's some captains that are cool with chiefs and there's some captains that aren't. And I think that comes down to when they were a little baby butter bar ensign, what their relationship was with their chief. And I think a lot of skippers really buy into the whole like chief initiation thing and some don't. I think you get a lot better success and a lot better training if you're willing to say like, hey, you know what, we're going to pull this guy out of standing duty for 6 weeks and we're going to let him go and do all these chief things, because it really has the potential to make them a better leader. And I think like anything in life, the more that you put into it and the more that you're willing to just kind of go through and trust the process, the more you're going to get out of it on the back end.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that I kind of tried to always instill in anyone that, was my selectee. I was their sponsor during the season. And, once I made it and, I could be a sponsor, I was a sponsor every year up until the year that I got out.
Yeah, that's I remember going through the year after I made it and sitting in the Chiefs mess like, motherfucker, are you serious? They already knew we were going to do all this dumb shit? And they're yeah, you dumbass. We were there once. We know exactly what you're about to go. I was like, oh my God, like you learned so much. And I remember Al and I, when we were together in like New Orleans, and we would, you have those people that make it, they're in their first year, they're all running around and they're like, I'm about to get there. You're like, you need to sit back and watch. I promise you learn more now than, I think that's also a key component there. That first year is the important year and you put more time and effort into it. But if you pay attention during the season and all the training they give you, it prepares you for that next year, right? That's going to be the hardest year in your Navy career, even though you've already gone to boot camp, you've already, progressed through and did all the hard stuff and did the shit jobs. I'm in the fan club of like your first year as a chief in the Navy is your hardest. Especially for you, like if you were a one of one and you're running around doing that, and now you walk on there, you're a chief. Now it's a completely different ballgame.
I agree and I disagree because I feel that, I was super fortunate to have some fucking amazing mentors coming up through the military. One was a warrant officer, and one was the very first chief that I had. Both of which I still talk to this day. And both of which were present to put my anchors on nice. when I pinned. If you're fair with people and you treat everybody the same way, you're not going to have a problem in leadership.
For sure. And that's why I say that first year is the hardest because, again, you were extremely fortunate. You had some great people to help you along the way, right? They mentored you, they trained you, they got you there. But then you see a lot of these guys, they just don't get it, right? And then they make it through. And then that first year, man, they're always wanting to write everybody up, or they can't figure it out, and then you look back, and a lot of times those are the guys that they couldn't come to the events or they couldn't be there for these things. You know what I mean? And so when I look at that, because I was a lot of my career is in recruiting, man. That's why that first year is the hardest. You're taking a first class that was an LPO that's now running a division, and now he's got to be the guy that used to run around talking shit about all the chiefs and now be a chief. You know what I mean? Because you know that environment in recruiting is a little bit different than the other places, you know, that you would be in there. So that it's interesting that that's your take, because I saw it in a different, you know, light from where we were. You know, we're on an island, dude. It was always great to get good fleet chiefs into recruiting commands. It made the biggest difference for sure.
Out of all of the chief selects that I sponsored, I did have one that on final night I went to our command senior chief at the time and was like, fuck this dude, he don't get it, he ain't fucking ready. And he was like, get him ready. And like, I already didn't like this dude. Straight up, Al probably knows him. Cause Al, you're still over in Pensacola, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this doucher's over there as well. We could talk offline, but
Yeah, for sure.
He was like, get him ready. And I'm like, that's not how this fucking works. It's fucking 11:30. Right? Like, if the dude hasn't got it over the last 6-7 weeks now, like he ain't gonna get it in the last fucking 20 minutes.
Jesus is going to sing from the clouds in 10 minutes, guys. We're good.
I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and finally I was like, it's on you, motherfucker.
Yeah,
and that dude's the biggest piece of shit now. Like, I know him. I still follow him. Like, he's just a shit chief.
Yeah.
Bunch of those.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry. I'm getting over like a sinus head cold. So if I'm
I thought you were talking chief shit, and it was just bringing back all those glory days, bro. You're like, I need to go back now. They called me the other day.
I'm ready. No, fam. Absolutely not. I would run myself over in the driveway before I went back.
Man, I told Paul when he was leaving recruiting, I tried to get him to stay. I was like, bro, you should stay in recruiting. You're so good. And he was like, fuck you, bro. I'm out of this motherfucker. And I remember like reaching back out like, bro, you think you made a mistake? You should come back. He was like, no, I'm good. It's like, I'm good. It was a good time.
From that.
It's a good time while it lasted. But Paul had a good time in recruiting. Like, this guy was out fucking fishing. Like the first time I ever went walleye fishing, Paul took me fishing. Like he had a good time. You knew at fucking when it was closing time in that shop, Paul's ass is going home. Like
100%.
It's over. Don't call him on the weekends. Nope. Don't call him on the weekends. Don't harass him. He's out. When he's off, he's off. He let everybody know too. He didn't care. Chief, ACR, you're like, look, bro, like I ain't got no shippers this weekend. Don't fucking call me. I don't care.
Well, and like that was something that they kind of pushed when we went through the recruiting school. They were like, there's two types of recruiters. There's the guy that puts in 100 contracts a month and he's just the fucking goat. And then there's that guy that makes mission and go fishing. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
Sound like Sean DeWitt saying, make mission go fishing.
Yeah, he's like, oh, if I do what you want, I can go fishing. How many?
That's all.
Yeah, Paul so I got to put one in a month, and then like I'm done.
He talks shit. He put more. He always put people in, but he was always like that too. Like I've got my 2 in. Like I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Like these motherfuckers better pull their weight. And you were like,
and then I got 4 come May 1st to fucking slam on deck, and then I'm ready to go. Right.
Paul was hard. Hey, Paul was hard.
Once I figured out the scam, like I was golden.
He was hard to manage in recruiting because you'd be like, bro, I know you got 5 more motherfuckers. Can you please help me out?
No, because then what am I going to do May 1st?
Yeah, and then it's so funny. You're like, bro, I don't have it. I can't do it. And then the next day, hey man, I got to put these dudes on schedule. And you're like, fuck you, dude, for real. You're like, yeah, I don't know. They called me last night after I left, and now they're ready.
Night. Yeah,
Paul was a sandbagging motherfucker, bro.
100%.
Oh man, so great. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking. It wasn't good for me, but it was good for him.
So, did your time in the Navy, came up to retirement. Was there a moment that you felt like it's time to go, that you didn't want to go further?
Yeah, like year 14. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
So you were 20 and that's it, right? No doubt about it.
Yeah. So I had when I was on the Stout, I had a guy, a senior chief. He was the top snipe of engineering department. So I know, acronym. So he's like the senior enlisted engineer out of the engineering department. And he lived in Youngstown, Ohio, which is about an hour east of Cleveland. So he was a geobachelor. I was a geobachelor at the time. I had a little Ford Escort ZX2 that got like 40 miles to the gallon, and he had a 3500 Dodge diesel dually that got like 9 miles a gallon. So he's like, hey, you go home on the weekend? I'm like, yeah, whenever I can. He's like, I'll talk to your chief. We're gonna make this happen. So we would like split gas and tolls, and then I would literally drop him off at the toll booth on like Friday night, and then he would be standing there Sunday evening, and I would pick him up, and we would drive. And he was a senior chief. He was a gas turbine senior chief. And I remember on one of the drives, he was like, hey, just put my papers in. And I'm thinking to myself, why? And I asked him, I was like, you got 20 years, you're a senior chief. Why would you not, stick it out and go over 20 and make master chief or do whatever? And he was like, I'm going to tell you this tip, and this has stuck with me to this fucking day. And I still tell people this shit. He said, any day over 20, you're working for half pay. And I was like, fuck. He was like, I can get out at 20. I'm a gas turbine guy. I can make a shitload of money on the outside. I could go home. I could be with my family in Ohio. Why the fuck am I going to stick here and keep going when I can collect a retirement? So and that was shit. That was probably like 2005, 2006. And from that day on, I was like, fuck this shit, 20 and done, son. Straight the fuck out. And
So-
I ended up doing 20 years, 3 days, because I had to extend to the end of the month.
Did you prepare to get out once you decided 20 and done? Did you put things in place to be prepared for that, or were you still
did.
like trying to figure out what to do later? So walk us through
No.
how you did that, because we talked to a ton of people. We're just not ready, dude. We're not ready. It sneaks up. You get out. You go to this TGPS class. They don't teach you shit, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go make $1 million. Then you figure out nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? So how did you do it?
100%. I fucking studied, like, straight up. I mean, the best resource is to talk to anybody that's retired or newly retired or newly getting out, even if it's after 4 years or whatever, even if it's after 10 years. You talk to people and you're like, hey, what went well for you? What didn't go good for you? What would you do again? Or what would you change? And things like that. And literally, I mean, I'm getting old. I'm 44. So everything I do, I put in the iPhone. I have like a notes, in the reminders tab, and I have like certain lists. Like, we might drive past a restaurant. The old lady's like, oh, I just wanted to go there. And I'm like, get under the wife tab and note that for later. It's another life pro tip for you guys.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
But I took notes on everything. I set myself up financially as best I could. I tried to eliminate as much debt as I could prior to getting out. Shit, 44, life is over, bro. Like, it takes me 30 minutes to wake up. I gotta stretch the knees before I get out of bed. Like, stretch the back. I'm going to a chiropractor twice a week. Like, I physically am 44, mentally and emotionally I'm like 66 and a half. But no, I prepped really hard. And then COVID hit, and it fucking all went to shit.
Yeah.
Because it was a way of life. Yeah, I retired in 2020, and with my terminal job hunting, house hunting, I ended up September 11th, 2020 was my last day in uniform. Which I chose that day because nobody knew what 9/11 was when I came in 2000, and obviously 9/11 pretty much shaped the entire 20 years of service that I did as far as deployments and area of operations go. And I mean, it changed a lot for us. So, and it was a Friday. So
there you go.
Kind of.
So when you took your notes from everybody that you talked to and did your research and asked questions, was there like an overarching recurring theme to what they were telling you when they got out that made you be like, oh, okay, this is going to be a little easier than I thought, or I need to start putting things in buckets and paying attention? Like, was there something that everybody was like, I wish I would have done this, and you were like, okay, I need to do this?
I think first and foremost, I'm lucky enough now in my post-Navy job where I work with a lot of older, I don't want to say older, more experienced individuals that also had naval service. And I think that there used to be a bad stigmatism about filing a VA claim. You know, I'll be the first one to admit, and I tell my wife this all the time, definitely not the same person coming out that I was going in. You know, you do things and you have experiences and you whatever, it fucks you up to some degree.
Yeah.
While you're in service over 20 years. I would say the biggest, probably the fight that we have most often here in the Conway household is we're going to be late for something. And it's like, fuck, I can't be fucking late. And, you know, my wife's like a Southern girl, and it's just kind of like, well, just let it happen. And it's like, no, our reservations are at 7. Like they're expecting us at 6:50, so we can eat. So that way other people can come in at 8 and they can eat. And there's like a whole schedule to this.
Yeah. Hey, have you ever? So do you get this a lot, Paul? Like it only takes 10 minutes to get there. Like what? We got to get in the car. We got to drive there. We got to get to the parking lot. We got to park. We got to get out of the car. We got to walk. You know what I mean? It's like it takes 10 minutes.
So like now I just tell her that our dinner reservations are like 30 to 90 minutes prior to what they actually are. And then we show up like 20 minutes early.
I'm like, oh, traffic was better than I thought.
We did so good. We're here early. Oh, your table will be ready in a couple minutes, Mr. Conway. No problem.
Nice. So Paul, for your transition, were you nervous at all? Were you scared a little bit at all, or just you were so prepped that you were ready to go?
No, oh fuck no. If you're not scared, you're not fucking doing it right. I mean, you think about it, you're going from an institution where you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. You got healthcare, dental care, eye care, unlimited sick time, 30 days a month PTO. You're making by the time you do 20, even if you do 4 years, you're making a good amount of money when you get out. If you're not scared when you're getting out, that's on you. And you're you're lying to yourself, because let me tell you, the first job I got, I look at my boss and I'm like, do I need eye care? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, I got paid. I still get paid the place I work at. We pay weekly. So like, even that was an adjustment for me, because I'm like, oh shit, every Thursday I wake up and there's money in my account. And it's like, but wait, got a budget. Like you got bills coming up, and you got, this, that, and the other thing. So it is fucking scary getting out. Yeah. If it's not scary for you getting out, you are in for a very rude awakening once you do get out.
Yeah. So did you what did you ultimately wind up doing when you first got out? Because I'm sure that's not the job you do now, right?
It is, but it isn't. I'm with the same company that I started with. I work in ship repair. So the first job I got, I was what's called a WAF coordinator. Basically, it's production control. I kind of deal with the shipyard, and then I deal with the sailors on the ship, and I speak Navy and I speak shipyard, and I kind of merge the two, and I make sure that everything's in a safe condition, and the shipyard guys can go to work. So I did that for a little while, and then took a promotion with the company, and now I'm a ship superintendent. So I basically I still coordinate with the shipyard guys, and just kind of coordinate work.
It's in your bio. I read it.
I read it too, but that was like 2 days ago. So come on, man.
I just want the record to reflect that I asked Al for bios on all of you guys, so that way, like, I would know what I was dealing with.
My bad. Al for bios about us?
Hey,
no guest has ever done that.
Did you get my bio?
Oh, fuck no,
because Al didn't nobody asked me.
Hey, it's because I seen it. I got his bio, and then I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to send him some shit. I was like, but he already did it, so we're good.
All Al did was just forward.
Yeah, 100%. He didn't read it.
Fucking 100%.
But he typed out. He was like, "Looks good, bro."
Yeah, I was like, look, it did. Look
Man, this is awesome, phenomenal.
That shit was built phenomenally. We're good. Fuck it.
AI did it.
It's funny.
They just typed in a bunch of rough ideas and hit submit.
Thanks, Chat GPT.
So how is it for you now, being around, like in the shipyards, around today's sailors? Now that you've been out for a minute and you're still around that environment, like, do how do you feel it's gone?
Truthfully, I love it because it's like the right amount of Navy for me. Like I get to go deal with them for a couple hours a day, and I'm like, fuck you guys, I'm going to lunch. And then like I don't stay on duty, and I don't like go away from my family, and like it's cool because like there's two different kinds of like yardbirds. There's like the guy that wears like the giant chief anchor that hangs from his lanyard and walks around as like, I was a chief or a master chief. And then there's the guys like me that are like, whatever, dude. Like fuck you. So I was working a project about 2 years ago, and I developed, pretty good amount of rapport with the sailors, and one of the chiefs came in and he goes, Paul, I can't believe it. Like, you know so much about the Navy. He goes, did you ever serve? And I said, no. He goes, he's like, how'd you learn so much about the Navy? And I was like, well, as a contractor, they give us like documents and stuff. And he's like, I just take those things home. What do they call them? Tech manuals. I take tech manuals home with me and I put them on the back of the toilet. And every time I'm taking a shit, I read about the Navy. And he's like, fuck, man. He's like, you're good. He's like, you know a lot. And I was like, thanks, man. And there was another chief behind him that knew that I was a chief, and he's fucking rolling on the floor. And that went on. I probably played that for like another 2 months before I told him, like, yo, dog, I was a fucking chief. And he's like,
yeah.
No, I thought you were just a fucking.
I thought you just read tech manuals like a motherfucker.
That's funny.
Yeah, I poop a lot,
Yeah.
A lot of study time.
I need stuff to do, Need stuff to do.
God.
So we have come to the part where Ty's been listening. He's been taking it in, and now he wants to ask you a whole bunch of questions to make you uncomfortable. I don't know how well that's going to work in this situation, but
false.
Good answer.
Apples. How am I doing?
That's 3 of the questions already.
Oh, I'm crushing it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate you very much. I read this, and I actually circled all the different hull numbers. So, I mean, you were on the USS Austin, USS Gonzalez, USS Stout, USS Enterprise, USS Zephyr, USS Chinook. That's a cool name. USS Little Rock. And I don't think I have the 8th one on here, but yeah, I really appreciate it. I love hearing about the damage control, and I like hearing about rates that I know nothing about. And I know a little bit about the Army because I had EWO instructors, but man, I love hearing about y'all's stuff. All right, so you're going to be in the hot seat now, and I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. First question, you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Which value is most important to you, loyalty or respect?
Integrity.
Okay, expound.
I mean, if you don't have the ability to do what's right when nobody's looking, then I don't have time for you. My favorite saying, it's a personal saying, is integrity is not just a band from Cleveland. And if you're unfamiliar with Integrity, they are a metal band from Cleveland, and that always kind of throws people for a loop.
Very nice. Cleveland fucking rocks. All right, question 2. What is the best advice you have for a brand new sailor?
The best advice I have for a sailor, always tell the truth so you don't have to remember the lies. And bad news is not like fine wine and cheese. It doesn't get better with age.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. If Al would have got you our bios, you would have known that I grew up in Jacksonville, went to high school at Fletcher, but I've not been back there really since mid 2000s. So what is your favorite place in Jacksonville to go hang out?
My favorite place in Jacksonville to go hang out.
You to say the jetties or something with fishing, but go ahead.
So yeah, I do fish. The jetties are a good spot, but truthfully, I like running offshore and trying to chase down some big fish. I would say my favorite spot to hang out is probably Jack's Beach. They've got a good mix of bars and restaurants, and obviously the beach. I'd say Jack's Beach.
Absolutely. I worked at probably all those clubs. Is Pete still there? Or did it finally close?
Pete's is there. It's not the Pete's that you remember, though. Don't
Okay.
do yourself a solid. Don't go back.
Oh shit, for real. Okay.
For real.
In all of your Navy travels, what is the most unique place on Earth that you've ever visited?
I would say it's probably a toss-up between Split, Croatia, and Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Both for different reasons. I mean, very, very different places, but both of them hold a near and dear spot in my heart, and both of which I would go back to on a regular vacation.
It's really cool. I've never been to Dubai, but I went to Djibouti, Africa, and
I'm familiar.
Those coastal interdictions and stuff, or at least that was their mission. I was a combo guy, but that's really cool. But I've never heard of, hey, can we board? And they say no, and you're like, all right, I never heard of that before, but that's cool. If you were, I only ask people this that have like big personalities. So if you were to have a celebrity assistant, who would it be?
I was to have a celebrity assistant, who would it be? I'm gonna say Tim Tebow.
Okay, excellent Jacksonville icon. So why Tim Tebow though?
Not a Gator fan. Not appreciative of what he did to the Ohio State Buckeyes in a couple national championship appearances. But I think he might be able to rein me in a little bit and make me a better human.
Yeah, I've always told people that Tim Tebow may not be one of the best quarterbacks ever. You know, he's probably not going to make any of those lists, maybe some of the worst, but he may be one of the best human beings on the planet, man. That dude's amazing.
That's a factual statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Big ups, Tim Tebow. Give us a call. We'll get you on the podcast. All right, brother Paul, what drives you?
Money.
Okay, good one. What keeps you up at night? Lack of money?
Oh, I have no problem going to sleep. My wife hates it.
Excellent. That's a man with a clear conscience that can not have any problems going to sleep tonight. And I can tell by the story that Paul has told that he's always truthful and keeps his palate clean. All right, brother, wax poetic. Tell me a quick story that you're kind of notorious for. I've heard that you can pull heroes off fights in a single bound, but what is something else that you were notorious for as a damage control chief on all those different boats?
I think probably being an asshole.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Just being an asshole.
Notoriously, like I was not a nice human. I was not nice to people, and but at the same time, I think it's an enduring quality. Thank you. I think it's one of those things like it, because I've asked people like, hey, I know I'm a little harsh, but who would you want with you if there was a casualty? And it's a resounding, well, you, because it's just the way that you carry yourself. So I know that I'm a little rough around the edges, but it's kind of sometimes by design.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I think of Al Hero. Like he's pretty abrasive, but like he's one of the most loyal people on the earth as well.
Indeed.
All right. So you said you've never done a podcast, but just give us a quick chief assessment. How do we get better on this podcast?
So full disclosure, once Al invited me on, I was like, fuck, I better study. So I've been listening to old episodes that you guys had. Pretty much all the way back to the beginning. And I think you guys are crushing it. Definitely something that I listen to on the way to work because I catch you guys on the Apple podcast because I'm an Apple guy. I wouldn't change a thing.
Appreciate it, brother. You can thank Matt for that. He distros us out to all kinds of different things. I didn't even know we were on Apple, to be quite honest with you. So thanks for that, Matt. Come in here real quick, Matt. Thanks for that, buddy. I had no idea we were on Apple.
Yeah, you're welcome. I tell everybody every week, every platform where you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, they're all there.
Yeah, I guess I got to add Apple's logo over here. All right. Hey, last question. and this is the big one for the podcast. Who's the best, Prince or Michael Jackson?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up. Who's the best? What?
Who is the best? I don't want to lead you. Who is the best entertainer, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Okay, why?
Thriller? Have y'all not seen Thriller?
You completely led him in that one, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
No,
yeah,
you
I've
didn't.
I've seen Thriller for sure.
All right.
I can't argue with you. Yeah. All
He
right. Here we go.
totally led.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
So here's the next question: who's the better musician of all time, Prince?
No.
or Michael Jackson?
Ty
He
said
said
last
entertainer.
question.
He said entertainer. He
Yeah,
did
but
lead
prior
you.
to that, he said last question.
Objection. Sustained.
Overruled.
You have officially got out of the triple threat bet hot seat.
Man. I'm over it.
All right, Matt. What's your question? I'll allow one more.
No, I just said I'm going to ask it a different way. Who's the best musician, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Jesus. What instruments did he play?
All of them.
His
Had skin
shoes.
flute, I think.
He did play. He did play small skin flutes.
Yeah.
He did. That's talent, dude. That takes talent.
But I mean, when you think about, like, I'm with Paul. When you think about, like, who's going to be on your playlist more? Which one? You're going to have Michael on your playlist way more, just because his hits were just generational,
Maybe, but
What do
every
you
time
got
they
from
do
Prince?
me a
Purple Rain?
right?
And maybe if you're in a 7th grade slow dance.
That's hilarious. Well, that being said, I do like them both. Well, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate
Hold
it.
on. I got a conversation started.
shit.
I want to play a video real quick, and it's going to start a conversation. Actually, I'm going to play 2 videos. Matter of fact, let's just take about a 2-minute break. I'm going to play a couple videos so we can play our sponsor video, and then we'll come right back if that's all right. Because I do have a conversation starter video that I want to talk to you about.
I'm going to get a drink.
We'll be right back.
On average, we lose 22 veterans to suicide every single day. These heroes who once fought for our freedom now battle invisible wounds. Mission 22 is dedicated to healing our veterans and providing them the support they need. As a leader in our community, we stand with Mission 22 as we believe in giving back to those who have given up so much for us. It's our way of saying thank you for your service. For more information, visit mission22.com.
Vance at the White House. Vance at the White House on Monday. Vance fumbled the base of the Vance.
Don't remember what happened last night. Heard I got in one hell of a fight. Head feels rusty like a hammered nail. How the hell didn't I go to jail? All I know to do is grab 100 proof. Start round 2. Come on.
Crazy.
Yeah, I had a JD Vance where he fumbled the college football playoff, but for some reason they wouldn't play. My bad. Yeah, so explain what the hell is going on in this video, Al.
So my son was at a bar last night with his job out near, like, Tampa, Florida. And there was a guy in there, and he was like, all these people are around him. Who is this guy? And he walked over and was like, hey, started talking with him. It ended up being John Daly. And they kind of hit it off and just started hanging out. And then my son was leaving to go to another bar. And John Daly was like, where are we going? And my son was like, we're headed to a different bar. And John Daly jumped in the car with him, and that's where they headed off to.
Nice.
Damn cool. So how many of these type of events happened when you were serving with Al? Like, was there a lot of bar hopping? A lot of, hey,
No.
jump in the car, we going to the next bar?
No, there's a
No,
lot of
because-
one more beer, you're there for 10 more fucking hours. There's a lot of that.
No, there wasn't even any of that. Like, Al wasn't cool back then. He didn't go out and drink with us.
I went
Like,
out.
he had
one
like a
time,
wife
I
and
did.
young kids he
But,
had
hey,
to go home to.
the one
like-
time I went out with Paul, no lie, the one time I went out with Paul and a guy named Josh Mullinex, I was living with a buddy of mine whose wife was a pastor. Like she was a pastor of the Lakewood Methodist Church, which is right across the street from our office. And Paul took me out for drinks, and they introduced me to what's known as Christmas ale. And we were in there. They had a bachelorette party. There was girls. It was crazy as hell. I was out there with all them. They drank, and when Paul dropped me off, here's how the asshole is. When he dropped me off, no one. It's snow. It's a lot of snow in Cleveland. They just kicked me out of Paul's. I think he had like a Trailblazer, a Chevy at the time. Kicked me out the car and left me on the curb, and they drove the fuck off. And I passed out in the front yard until this pastor's wife or husband came and got me to bring me inside. One time I went out. The one time. And Christmas ale will and snake bites will bust your head open. Just so y'all know, if you ain't never had Great Lakes Christmas ale, you're missing out in life.
Hey, so real quick though, Doc, I'm just gonna let you know that John Daly is probably one of the best golfers of all time, just because of who he is. He plays golf. He's on the PGA Tour.
I don't know if he's the best golfer. He's the biggest.
He's the most honest non-athlete on the tour. He goes,
he is
golf.
fun to watch because
all I got to do is drink, smoke, and hit a ball. You don't need to be athletic to do that.
He's a golfer. He's a pro golfer, Amber. Doc.
Yeah, he's a pro golfer. Pretty much.
But
yeah. So Paul, also, can we put a petition into your state to let them know that it's okay to mail booze, like for real? My daughter was in Cleveland for a year working at the VA, and I'm up there at Christmas time, and I was like, I got to get some of this Christmas ale.
Yeah.
So I went and bought it at the store. I took it over to the post office. They were like, no. I said, what? No, we can't mail it. Then when I took it back to the grocery store, they're like, we don't return alcohol. I was like, what kind of fucking state is this, dude? What do you mean you can't return it?
That's probably the one thing I miss about Cleveland the most is Christmas ale, and then
Conway's
also
the
same brewery has a beer called Conway's Irish Ale. My last name is Conway, so it's a hit here at the household. And I used to be able to mail it here, so I used to be able to buy it online and then have it shipped. And then a couple of years ago they stopped that shit. So now you just have to box it up and not tell them what it is when you drop it off.
Yeah, I'm fully trained now, so I'm aware. So I had to go return beer to buy wine because we were leaving the next day. I was like, well, that's some craziness.
Christmas
it is good though. It is good. It's
Christmas
very good.
Life changing, bro. It's that
very
good.
Yeah.
It's
Christmas in a bottle, dude.
Shout out to Great Lakes Brewing in Cleveland.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, we didn't go out to bars a whole lot, man. I've been to Paulie's house a bunch for barbecues and like get-togethers, and we had a good time.
That's what he did a lot. But now, Paul, if you go anywhere with Albert Hero and he says one more, fucking leave. Leave, dude. You're gonna be there for 6 more hours with this dude because he's gonna walk up and be like, "That person bought me one more." I couldn't say no. I was like, Jesus Christ,
now. My wife hates this about me, and she calls it my superpower. I've never had a hangover in my entire life. Not one.
I am not going drinking with you. Just saying.
Yes, that's probably in your best.
We will
interest.
drink you under the table. Trust me. As they let me out of a van, out of his car, it was rough. We had a good time in Cleveland, though. If you've never been to Cleveland, Cleveland's pretty badass.
Cleveland's a great city. Florida's way fucking better.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Jacksonville, so you're in my stomping grounds down there.
No, you're in my stomping grounds now.
You're right. It is your home.
Yeah.
Now. So, I mean, it's
mine now.
Yeah, it's yours.
I mean, I'm still representing. I got the Browns helmet up there. I got the Ohio State helmet up there.
You got the Navy helmet.
Navy helmet up there too.
Yeah.
That came from the recruiting station.
Was that the one that was in Cleveland?
Yes, it is.
I think our operations officer, one of the opsos there, somebody played for the Naval Academy, didn't he?
He did, and he had a hookup and would give them out for like monthly prizes. And then when I left, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm taking it with me." And then the other guy in the station was like, "Where'd that helmet go?" I'm like, "I don't know." What?
So are you low key? Are you low key a Jacksonville fan too now? I see you had a lot of the games.
Yeah. Well, I'm a property owner down here, and I just like football. And look, I love the Browns. Don't get me wrong. Be my, down home team till the day I die. But I also really enjoy watching football in a tank top and flip flops, and I can do that here. You can't do that in Cleveland. So yeah, season ticket holder now for the last couple of years, and
So what's the difference in
football.
atmosphere, Paul? You took me to my first Browns game, and it was fucking. It was against Baltimore, and it was fucking insane. And there were so many fights in the stands. What's the difference between Jacksonville games and games?
So it like truthfully, like Jacksonville fans, they just want a reason to drink. Like they're happy to get up at 9 a.m. on a Sunday and start drinking, and they don't care what jersey you're wearing or anything. So quick story, one of the guys I work with 2 years ago, he was like, hey, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh for the Jacksonville Pittsburgh game. And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. Don't do that. And he goes, no, we bought tickets, we're going, it's going to be great. And I saw him when he got back, and I said, hey man, how was your time? And he goes, bro, you weren't fucking around. Like it was miserable. Like cops were running red lights downtown. Like the stadium was like in a shit area. He goes, I sat down, and he goes, we bought good tickets, like right on the front row, about midfield. And this guy's sitting next to me wearing a Steelers getup, and he looks at me and he says, he's an old guy like in his 60s, and he goes, you might want to take that Jacksonville hat off and just like not pull it out for the remainder of the time. And he goes, he was right. Like I put that shit in my pocket because they were about to fucking riot and beat my ass.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
That's so great, dude.
I watched a Baltimore fan get beat up, and he didn't even do anything. It wasn't his fault, and the police arrested him. I'm thinking, oh, this is in Cleveland. I was like, this is crazy as fuck. Like this dude got beat up by like 6 guys, bro. And then they arrested him. Like he didn't even start the fight. Like they beat the shit out of him. So I was curious. I see you at a lot of Jacksonville games. So I was.
Yeah, actually, we went to London last year for a Jags game in London.
How is football in London?
Way better than football in America.
Are they singing in the stands like at soccer games?
Well, first off, like we rode the train to the stadium, and it doesn't matter what team is playing that Sunday. You see all 32 jerseys represented. Like people are just happy that fucking football is going and you're like, you see somebody, you a Bengals fan? They're like, no, I like Tigers, and it's the same print. So I bought these Tiger pants,
on it.
Cincinnati jersey, and they're like, I don't even know anything about American football. American football is stupid.
Legit.
That's awesome, dude. I would like to go there. Did you guys when you went to London? Did you look to go to a soccer game over there?
We did, yeah. So
dude,
we were
singing
very
short
turnaround,
bro.
And I waited. We knew that we were going. We planned our trip well in advance. And last minute, I was like, we should go watch soccer or football.
Yeah.
Because if you call it soccer over there, you're gonna get your ass beat. So I was like, cool, let's see if there's like a football match going on. And there was. So I called the stadium and I was like, hey, I'm coming from America to watch American football, and I want to watch English football too. And they were like, no tickets. But the hotel was able to get us some tickets, and insane. Such a good time.
Yeah.
Prior to my only football or soccer experience was watching Ted Lasso on Apple TV. So I knew nothing about but man. It's cool because like the Jags played the Patriots in London this year, and when you go to Wembley on the main concourse, they have these giant metal doors that they shut to like separate their football fans. They didn't do it for the football game.
Wow.
But like they segregate you. Like they won't, if you're wearing the other team's jersey, they won't even let you in to sit with the local people. They'll just boot your ass out.
Yeah.
Because they take it so seriously over there.
That is so hilarious.
It was such a good experience. We saw a Fulham match at the Craven Cottage, and just like I'm like an undercover history nerd, so just seeing like the history of like they still have the old cottage over in the corner that essentially they built the entire soccer stadium around. It was cool. It was a really good time.
That's awesome, dude. That's the one thing that's on a bucket list item for sure. Watching a soccer game in England. Just I don't care who it is, don't care what team it is, don't care. Just to be in the stands and hearing them sing and it's pretty.
It's
cool.
insane, and just like how close you are to the field is mind blowing. Like
nice. Dudes
are falling into the front row. Like you are like right there in the action. And I mean, they do it right over there. Shout out to London. You buy a club level seat and that includes all your beer and food for the night and all your drink.
Shit.
Oh yeah. God. You go in a couple hours early, leave a couple hours after the match. Like it's a very good time. I highly recommend you go over and watch any NFL game over there, pick up a soccer match or a football match while you're over there. Down for a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sold. Let's go. Well, shit, man. We're at that point, dude. We appreciate you coming on. I love hearing your story. I like seeing, just how things progressed for you. And I'm very excited that you got to tell people you prepared to get out, but it still didn't change, your mindset. Like if you're not scared to get out, then like you didn't do it right. So it's good to see that no matter, even if you prepare, you're still going to have those feelings of like, I don't know what's going on. But thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to come back, you just hit us up, man. You can come back in. But we appreciate you and thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys for your time. Thanks for having me on. Didn't really know what to expect. I thought the hot seat was going to be a lot hotter. Ty, I think that was kind of weak. Like, let's try to do better next time. I mean, because like I said, I've been listening to the episodes, so I was like, mentally preparing, and that's
no problem, homie. I got you next time.
Thanks,
all of a sudden, burn. Okay, now that we're in the real hot seat, let's
hot seat round 2. Let's go. Ready, fight.
Yeah. So at some point, I'm sure one, if not all of us, will be in the Jacksonville area, man, just for the things that we do normally. Yeah. So when we get in that area, man, I'll hit you up, look you up, and we'll have to meet up and go hang out.
I would appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First round's on me, gentlemen. Let me know anytime you come into the city. I promise I'll show you a good time while you're here. Duval.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you having you on. Like I said, I love the insight, hearing the jobs that people did and hearing the amount of boats or ships that you were on. Ships. I'm not sure what they're called.
Boats go under the water.
Okay. Ships that you were on.
That's true.
Impressive, man. Like I've got a very big reverence for the chief because of, these guys and because of the Evo instructors I had. So you live up to it, man. I don't care that you were just quiet quitting as a recruiter, man. Like you have to have a work-life balance. Hey, man.
Only on Al.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate all your words of wisdom for doing 20 years. 20 years is enough, and if you're going to do 35, I respect the hell out of that. But yeah, I got out as quick as I could. I didn't want to do much more than 20 either.
No shame in that game.
Yes, sir.
Nope. Except for Matt, he did like 24. He's a fucking idiot.
I did 22 and a half. So
okay.
You would have done 30 fucking years, but they kicked your ass the fucking
100%.
Yeah,
100%, right?
Yeah, when they tell you like,
Al would have been that dude on Facebook today, being like, they gave me the call and I got the most greatest honor of my life. I'm a master chief.
I'm going back, baby.
Yeah, when they sat me down and told me your type of leadership's not good in the Navy anymore. Like you probably should look for some other job. I was like, you're probably fucking right.
Yeah, Al, where are your khakis? Where are your khakis right now?
Those bitches are put
together.
Right hanging in your closet.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, you said that you appreciated being an asshole. I learned how to be an asshole when I was E3, 4 from this guy Bob Mayer. He was the biggest asshole that I ever met in the Army.
I don't know. I think Bob Mayer's pretty good. Keep them comments coming, Bob.
He's he doesn't give out compliments like that. So very cool. Grant,
he's actually getting inspection ready for you.
Oh, 100%. He's putting them bitches on. Yeah, look at that. See? Mine are fucking balled up in the attic in a suitcase. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, where's the other anchor though, bro? What the hell?
So I went to.
Oh, you wear that neckerchief a lot with your khakis, do you? Because Got that inspection ready neckerchief just in case you got to tie a square knot.
I practice my
Oh,
square
he didn't
knot.
hear any of that. That makes it even better.
I do. I practice my square knot.
Yeah.
And my
I
other
bet.
anchor mat is on my suit jacket on my lapel. I went to that funeral.
Oh, okay.
Went to that Navy buddy of mine's funeral.
Were those anchors or senior chief anchors?
Senior chief anchors.
Oh, I couldn't see the star. It was pretty little. So
So you didn't give your when you retired, you didn't give your anchors out to people.
I did.
That, like,
I did.
retired?
Yeah, my anchor.
Except
yeah.
that one set, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he bought like
Inspection
4 sets. That's like the
in
fourth
case they need me. I don't know if they may
Listen, Al was so excited that they said you can get the fuck out. Like he wasn't thinking about giving anybody an anchor. He's like, fine, I will see myself.
Dude, I went
out.
UA. I went UA for 6 months because they were like, no. All of a sudden, in recruiting, no cost TAD doesn't exist anymore, and like, I was like, okay, we'll see. I was
We're
just
gonna
the
make
house.
it happen.
I was
Right
working
now,
a second job still in the Navy. Fuck it.
That guy right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That guy right there. This guy right here. He's the one that has a uniform ready after retirement. Mine are all in a box too, in the attic, waiting for something to be made out of them.
Now I probably can't button them motherfuckers. I can put them on like a jacket, but I don't think I can button them right.
Don't lie, bro. You buy the right fitting set every so often and just put all that shit back on and put it in the closet.
100%.
Bro, it still got shirt
Absolutely.
stays on them. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that doesn't mean you didn't put them on them new khakis you went and got.
Bro, whatever, motherfuckers.
I know my class A's are in my son's uniform or closet, but upstairs. But I don't have any khakis or BDUs or anything.
I think the only thing that would pull those out of the attic for me is if my 7-year-old now made chief down the road.
Yeah.
I would pull them bitches out. Aside from that, like, I got suits.
Yeah, I put my little anchor on my little lapel pin.
Yeah, but at what point in your life, Paul, do you ever find an occasion to wear a suit?
Fairly often. I mean,
really?
not often. I would say maybe like probably 4 or 5 times a year. I have a couple nice suits that I'll go out and wear. Yeah.
Man, you're doing better than me. I'm trying to
Just go
find
on
every
Paul's
reason not to wear.
Just go on
this
Paul's Facebook. Like, this dude's a fashion guru. He's got all the Hawaiian shirts. Like, he's gonna fucking yeah.
Well, so
are you still a fucking sunglass junkie?
Yeah, but I'm starting to get old, so I bought a prescription pair of sunglasses. So it's like those shits are expensive, and it's like I've got like a couple of nice pairs of. But yeah,
I think you kept GovX.
I still have all my old pairs of sunglasses.
Yeah, you kept GovX in business back in the day.
That
dude's whole
issue, like
his whole dashboard was nothing but Oakley's. Like every color they made, every fucking was crazy.
Right.
Facts, dude.
Well, now I just wear wacky shirts because like nobody can tell me no, and I can wear whatever the fuck I want to wear.
Nice.
There you go. Anyways, well, it's been real, brother. I appreciate you coming on for sure, man. It's a good trip down memory lane. So I definitely appreciate all the insight you gave me. I mean, I'm out now, but all that leadership, man, it didn't go to waste, man. I carried it with me throughout my career and did pretty well. So I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you too. Send me your address and I'll autograph this for you and send you the don't skip leg day. This is not normally hanging up in the Conway household. I'm gonna tell you.
No, I'm gonna guarantee it's not. Don't skip leg
my
day.
wife's gonna come through and see it and be like, "What the fuck is that? Get that the fuck off the wall." Yes, dear, right away.
Where's your wife from, Paul?
My wife grew up here, but she was actually born in Romania.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, no shit.
Fuck. She's a vampire.
Well, they fled communist Romania when she was 4. And
holy fuck.
Yeah, no, it's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. We got another reason to bring it back on.
Yeah, we'll bring her.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Love it. Well, gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I had a blast.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Conway. Well, that was cool. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, man. 100%. 100%. Al does know some cool people in the world.
Hell yeah.
He's one of the coolest, bro. He's fucking he was good shit. He really was.
I know some characters. All right. next week's guest, we have Julie Austin and Matt Kane. They served with me at Fort Campbell. We deployed together in 0709. So they're going to come on and talk about their transition out of the military, because it's happening as we speak, pretty much. I think in the next 3 to 5 months is when they'll be transitioning out. And they have already talked about Dog Tags to Ownership podcast. So they're going to come on our show. We're going to come on their show. Matt's going to, talk to them about business and veteran business, veteranpreneurship. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Mac Verdi needs to be on their show as well. So yeah. I'm trying to get them a bunch of, guests for their show. But yeah, that's it. Let's get out of here, I guess.
Sure. I mean, it's
yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. Well, it's me. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining us again on a Tuesday. Paul, we appreciate you. We're honored to hear your story and glad that we could share it with our listeners. As always, every week, come back. If you want to hear a story, you want to hear how somebody made it through, you want to see how they've transitioned, things, tips, tools, tricks, trades that can help you out, this is the place to go. Also, don't forget, we haven't shown you guys in a while because we're waiting for you to keep moving. We're still selling these t-shirts for charity. So next week, I said it last week, but next week we'll have an update for you to where we're at on that. So if you've bought one or you haven't bought one, you need to go buy another one. But remember, the one to buy is the whiskey shirt. That is the best shirt. Everybody should get that one. There's no phenomenal things going on, and we're not trying to wax poetic on a t-shirt. We're trying to have a whiskey label t-shirt. So go get that one today. But seriously, 3 great organizations. We're trying to help them all out. Help us help veterans, and that's what we're all about here. So thank you, everybody. We love you guys. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Good Lord. Al, I think it's time for me to get a new computer, man. This iMac that I've had for like 12 years.
It's going down the drain, yeah.
It won't even let me push buttons. Go ahead, bro.
So easy. I'll be quick. Just want to remind everybody, it's never too late to check on one of your battle buddies or check on one of your people. So sometime this week, man, reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, or you haven't heard from. Just let them know you're loving them, you love them, and you're thinking about them, and just check on your battle buddies this week and make sure everybody's doing okay. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to come back tomorrow. So check on somebody and tell somebody you love them. Like always, never sweat the petty stuff, that sweaty stuff. I love y'all.
Definitely time for a new computer. Next week I'll have a new one. Hey, appreciate it. Love seeing Paul Conway on the show. Big shout out to Todd and Celia Trosper for their 30th anniversary. And we'll be back again next week with Julie Austin and Matt Kane. Appreciate you. Love you.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1. If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.